and then there's been places where you said it and it was not okay with black people. So I would tell you, moving forward, as a black man, ask if it's okay for you to use the N word before you use it. And if you don't have the temerity to even ask that, then don't say it at all to find out whether it's okay or not.
Also, just because one
Basically,
person,
he's saying that say it in a respectful manner. Make
No,
sure.
there's no respectful way. No, there's no respectful way to say it. Ask.
yeah,
Hey, man, I'm just letting you know. Hey, man, we kicking it. Hey, if I use the N word, is that gonna be all right with y'all? And if they say, fuck no, don't fucking say that, then keep it to yourself.
well, the thing is, even
they say,
hang on, even if there's one black person that's okay with it, they don't speak for the entire community. You're really
that's
trying.
what.
Mhm.
But,
Go ahead.
but the thing is the context. You have to be aware of the context. It would be safe to say, to have some emotional intelligence, to not fucking say it at all, let alone to have the temerity to ask to say it. But if you want to say it, if it's that deep that you feel like you need to say it, and you need to say it around black folk so that you can feel comfortable by saying it, just ask first and see the response that you get. If you're not into the business of asking black people if you could use the N-word because it's going to make it an awkward interaction, then guess what? Don't say it.
It seems like you really want to have no limitations. And look, it's okay if you don't say certain words, if you don't dress a certain way. Like, trust me, you can live without it. You can have a happy life without it. Okay? There's stuff that I can't wear because I'm not part of a certain culture. And guess what? I can live with it.
I was chopping it up.
That's my point, though. To begin with, right, is ownership of the word and who has the right to it. Who trademarked the word?
But you know what? Let me say this though, Sire, because we already know, Sire. It's no word in any other language, to be honest, with more history and impact behind that word. Can we agree on that?
I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, well, it's a word that I'm pretty sure.
Name another word right now, Sire. Name another word.
It's a very popular word for sure.
Name another word.
No, I'm not speaking in popularity in terms of rap songs. I'm talking about the history and connotation that comes along with that word. There is no other word.
It's really not that. It's really not that confrontational, to be honest.
So let me ask you, Sire, where you from?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what state?
I'm from gang culture.
No, I'm saying, what's your not that, like, far as Mexican or what indigenous, what?
Yeah, so my nationality, I'm American. My ethnicity, I'm half Spanish, half Mexican.
Okay. Let me say this for myself, because this is a conversation that I had with brother Asar, and I'm speaking for me personally, my own personal experience. I don't feel comfortable with no one saying that word to me, that except from somebody really from New York. And what I mean by somebody from New York, I mean a New Yorican, Dominican, what have you, from that New York culture. It's different. And even in Chicago here, the Mexican, indigenous, black community pretty much get along just fine. Right. But even when they say it in Chicago, by Chicago being so segregated, it has a, it's just like a sting a little bit. But when I hear it coming from somebody from New York, being that they've been so intertwined into that, experiencing that word, not just saying it, but a lived experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a struggle word, right? Like,
not. I think you're missing the point, Sire. It's not so much as a struggle word as a word with a lot of history behind it. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I equate struggle to. It's people that come from that walk of life altogether. Poverty.
But it's not poverty. It's not struggle. In that it's an amalgamation of things. It's an
Well,
amalgamation of oppression.
it's a hood word. It's a struggle
It's not a
word.
hood. It's not a hood word because we didn't coin the phrase. Our oppressors coined that word. I mean, not phrase, but our oppressors came up with that word.
So exactly, that's where I'm getting at. I'm getting at that, and I'm also getting at like the sense of endearment. Because some people, it's a good word for some, and it's a bad word for others.
I don't use it as a term of endearment.
Not at all.
You
Not
know,
at all.
I've heard both sides of this. I'm like I've heard both sides of the coin, right? Like
What's both sides? What sides?
I've heard that's what I'm saying. I've heard people who it's a sense of endearment. It's like, oh, that's you're my brother. That's a word saying like, hey, the N word is in regards to you're my bro, my brother, my fam. And then
What?
I've also heard it where it's like, yeah, it's like you calling out somebody in a derogatory way, and it's the opposite. It's a way of saying,
Sire, you like hip hop. You know one of the key words that we use to refer to each other is God or son, not SON SUN. You know what I'm talking about, son?
that's an East
When I
Coast
see you,
word.
peace, God. But you said hip hop. I'm just letting you know. Why haven't you pushed or pressed to at least use God or son? Since it's such a hip hop influencing thing with the N word.
Yeah, I
Why
don't
not
use
use the other word?
that would have been the word that I would have brought up that she asked the host. It would have been the God word. I don't use that word in vain like that.
So
So
what I'm saying,
why can't
it's amazing that you
what?
would not use that in vain,
What?
but you would use the N word.
Yeah, it's two different things.
Way. There's no way. This is not
Yo.
life.
What I don't get it. What's so funny?
This is not real life, my guy. What the hell?
Well, what's so funny? I don't know.
Oh man, peace to the gods and earths.
Peace, God. Peace.
Peace, God.
Well, I mean, I get that, but I mean, that was my whole point,
What's
though.
yeah?
You
You would
guys
have a
definitely.
hard. You would have a hard time. You would have a hard time calling me God than you would an N word. Wow.
Well, it depends. It depends, right?
Well.
No. So hold up. I think you're looking at it from the point of view of it being spoken in a
Man,
derogatory way.
call me God. Call me God before you call me an N word.
No.
Refer
See,
to me as God.
I think that's why you laughed is because there's a misunderstanding with how it was being used. If I'm your friend, I'm your homie, I'm your your cousin,
I'm your God. I'm your God.
I'm your ace, I'm your person, right?
I'm your God.
Then
I'm your God.
I'm using it in a sense of endearment to my people.
Sire. Mira, soy afro-indígena. Parezco como un negra, right? Like you can clearly see that I'm black. You can clearly see that mixture. Nobody ever asked, oh wow, you're indigenous. What else you mixed with? No, they can clearly see that I'm mixed with black. I'm
Okay, but if you guys are all,
I'm gonna tell you right now that I literally punched my own cousin in the face. I literally punched my own cousin in the face for saying that word. My blood, mi sangre, directamente. I literally punched him in the face for saying that word. We got into a fist fight. I don't care what you are to me. If your ass ain't black, you can't say it.
right, but who's to say that they can gatekeep the word if it's a universal word that was white
It's
people?
not.
It's not a
If you
universal
have any
word.
compassion, you would understand.
It's not a universal word. That's what we're saying.
So
It's
can you
not
guys
universal.
before we start getting more into this, can you guys even
Okay.
tell me what the original word was?
Can I
First of
jump in here
all,
just for a second, dear
I
brother?
don't think you guys can.
Okay, Sire, let me say something. Sire, let me say something to you real quick, Sire. If the reason why I said about, particularly a lot of Hispanic people in New York, they can't escape that word like that. So they can't use it in a derogatory sense when it can be used to them. or at them in that same way.
Well, why not?
So
Can
hold
you
on,
explain why?
because you not being from that culture and that background like that, you don't experience it like that.
But you don't know that though. You don't know where my upbringing was. You don't know
Dude,
my
you live in
tradition.
Utah.
You
You
don't
live in
know the
Utah.
you don't know my
You live in
environment
Utah.
and the type of people that I was around. So
You live in Utah.
yeah, well, what of it?
Okay, well, look, what I'm saying
Are
is,
you suggesting that
okay,
Utah
look.
doesn't have
If
neighborhoods
if if
and
if
doesn't
Poppy,
ain't
if
about that
brother
life
Assad,
or
hold
what?
on, if brother Assad calls me that, you know what I mean? I can call him the word right back. You know what I mean? And it has equal weight. But you can say it like, okay, among certain people groups among certain friend groups, and they probably won't mean nothing by it. But you can turn around and say it in a different type of weight to them with the hard ER, and it has a whole different type of meaning.
No. We're leaving the ER out of it because we didn't even describe it as the ER.
Well,
That's
either
not
way,
relevant.
you know what? So if Poppy calls me that, even with the ER, you
But
know
you
what I
know
mean?
what? You know what? Do you know what? The one thing that I did learn to do, that I'll share with you, Sire, is that when I use the N word, I make sure that there are no white people around when I use it. So as a black man, when I use the N word, I make sure that when I say it, there are no white T people listening, white T people watching, or white T people monitoring. I have learned to train myself to only use the N word when I'm with black folk.
Yeah, that I think it's based off of the individual, right, and their situation.
Mm-mm.
It's letting you know
Because,
someone
like I
who's not
said,
black.
it may not be good for you, but it could be cool for someone else.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Because
Can I say something real quick?
how are you gatekeeping, or how is New York gatekeeping
Can I say something real quick?
overall?
Dale, leverage. Go ahead, leverage. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
brother.
Lev.
Depending on your age and depending on your your demographic, your community, you gonna say it more than others. So when I step outside the community and other people that might, I'm gonna say, have black appearances, or you feel me, appearances to where they could say the N word, you got to understand which is context and community or environment you in, right? Because I was in the military too. You
Exactly.
find a lot of people saying the N word that didn't really look like me. You feel me? But in high school, I went to high school with a few Mexicans, and due to how they grew up and where they was growing up, how they kind of engulfed themselves in the culture just by being around. Now they still was Mexican, you feel me? They still was who they was, but they said the word because they went to black schools. They grew up around black people, had black friends.
Right.
But it's also about, you feel me? If you find yourself in a situation, I think somebody said it before, to where the people you saying the N word to looking at you a certain type of way, then you know you not in the right community to be saying it. So I can say, for instance, right, if you grew up around a few black people, you've been saying the word or whatever, they might have a certain connection with you feel me, with you to understand the context. But you can still say it in a way that will trigger them because you still don't look the part to really say it comfortably entirely without it being like, well, why is you saying it? You feel me? Because if I say it to another black person, you feel me, is especially if they in my demographic, like they're in my community, then it's not gonna be a problem. But if a Mexican I never met just came out of nowhere and said, "What's good, man?" I'm gonna be like, you feel me? I'm gonna look at him sideways, like, do I know you? You feel me? Like it's
Right.
not about you saying the N word. It's about, do I know you? Like what is our connection for you to feel like it's appropriate to even address me like that? Because
Right.
as men, we don't even have to address each other like that. So
Right.
it's definitely context and environment.
Yeah.
Right. And
That's why I tried to.
that's my whole point.
But I'm saying, Sire, if you want to say it, I suggest you ask first
Well, no,
before you say it.
I don't have a problem with the word, and the word has never been a problem and an issue with me and in my environments. So I don't have to check in, and I don't have to ask anybody because it's a non-issue. That's my whole point.
Can I say it like this too? Can I say it like this? So, Sire, you can easily, like, we can safely say you don't know every black person in America. You haven't been around every black person.
Right.
So I'm gonna say this: you could feel as though if you say it, it shouldn't be a problem. But a person could see you and have a total different ideology about it and be like, "Who the is you to say that to me?" Like, you ain't nobody to say that to me, because they could see you having a close proximity to whiteness in any shape or form and take offense to it. So that's why he's saying, you feel me? You gotta understand that with you not being, let's just say, African American, it's never going to be, especially if you don't appear African American, it's always going to be a little, you feel me? It's going to be a little possibility you could trigger any
And
person when you see a black
yeah,
person.
and this
I made
is
the make it
and
work.
this is me
So
segueing.
Fendi wanted to interject. Go ahead, Fendi.
Oh, okay.
It's a quick one, Sire. You said something about hip hop. I get it, granted. Okay, cool. Can you recite to me your favorite song or a song using the word right now?
Of what?
The topic is the wordage, and you said as far as in hip hop, recite to me your favorite lyrics using the word.
Yeah, so Nas has a song on God's Son album, and it's I don't know what number song it is, but it's the last real nigga alive.
Oh my god.
That's a Nas track. It's one of my favorite songs, by the way, where he's actually going up against Jay-Z in that song.
Yeah, those are two black people talking to each other, about each other, at each other.
But so this is my point though, because it's a segue into the original context of the conversation, which is there's good and bad in everything, right? When it comes to race, ethnicities, right? And white tea people, that goes with white tea people.
There's no,
white
no,
tea,
it doesn't.
There's some cool white tea
isn't.
people out there, and
No,
then
there
there's some bad ones.
isn't. There is no cool.
So you're
white tea
suggesting that all
person.
white tea people are bad?
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that all the ones I have met up until this point are suspect. I haven't met all white tea people.
You
Just
haven't?
the ones that I've met? No, I haven't. So
And that's
all the ones that
unfortunate.
I know, because I don't think I'm going to meet all white tea people.
So
But all the ones that I
give you-
have met,
I'll give an example.
all the ones that I have met, they're all suspect.
Yep.
I can only speak about the ones I've met, which is very small. This is not a lot, but all of them, the ones that all of them that I've met, they're all suspect.
I don't trust them.
Especially the white tea women.
I don't trust them
Especially
at
the
all.
white tea women.
I don't trust
All
them
the
at
white
all.
tea women that I've ever met, all the white tea women that I have ever met, they're all suspect. Every last one of them.
Any of them. I don't trust them. I'm not around them. I'm not friends with them. I keep it cordial with them at work. If it has nothing to do with work, don't talk to me. Don't try to take care with me. Don't try to sit around me. Don't nothing. I don't want nothing to do with
What kind
them.
of world is that if you suggest that all white tea are bad and evil and wicked?
Suggest that. I said all the ones that I have met.
Well,
Now,
I'm talking about Chapa, not you.
Yeah, here. Let me ask you this. If there's a room full of poisonous snakes, right? There's a room full of poisonous snakes, and there's only 5 that are non-poisonous. It's like, name one incident. I'll wait.
on the basketball court. It's like, no, let me stop.
Shut up, Papa. Name one. I'm talking to you, Sire. You can unmute. I'm asking you the question directly.
Even though I was muted.
Name one.
So there was that independent unaliver Pew Pewer on the East Coast. I think he was. I'm trying to think of who it was under. But he was doing it on the East Coast. He was traveling. I think he was like in a Caprice.
John Malvo.
It was somebody, but I don't know if he had a son with him at the time or something like that.
No,
but
it wasn't his son. And he unalived black people as well, I believe.
Right.
Again, I'm gonna ask this question again. I would simplify it. Name one historical context in the Americas where white people as a group, just white people, No mixture, no diversity, just white people were subjected to racism at the hands of a group of African Americans or indigenous people.
Group.
As a group, who was the who?
No, as a group. That means on a city,
Yeah, so
state.
I would say the Panthers then.
What?
Oh my
Oh, what? Hold
god,
on.
bro.
Hold on.
Bruh.
Yo, the Panthers have never unalived or disinjured any white tea person ever. In fact, they fed them and gave their kids breakfast before they went to school and gave them free health care. You know how many white tea people showed up to those clinics on top of brown, indigenous, and black people? There was poor white tea people getting fed breakfast fed their kids breakfast before they went to school when there was no such thing as a breakfast
I'm not saying
program
that they didn't do
anywhere.
good. My whole basis to this whole combo is good and bad, right, and everything.
No, there is no good and bad when it comes to
Fire.
white tea
That's
people.
why you cannot use the N-word, sir.
Exactly. There was
Exactly.
no such thing as a Black Panther Party unaliving white people at a mass rate. What you see, and this is the problem you're having.
I'm not saying at a mass rate.
Real
The question was,
real quick. Let me finish. What you gotta understand is you gotta understand the history about which individual groups of people you're talking about. You gotta understand how they have a direct correlation to the history. So, like, you obviously are having some lack of understanding about Black culture. So you probably shouldn't be saying the N-word, or you just needed to get a better understanding on Black culture. Because to say the Black Panther Party is responsible for doing something like that is blasphemy.
well, if you guys haven't been tracking the conversation, my whole point to this is bigger than color.
Show me the history. Just 1 year of us doing this to white tea people. 1 year. Anything. Documented. We need facts. We need actual facts. Can you see that?
Yeah, so I
I
kick
just
it.
wanted to.
Can you see that?
No, Azul, don't mute him because we are. I know it's annoying, but don't mute him. I do want to try to have a open dialogue.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, now I want you to bring up me evidence of us Black or indigenous people. History of documentation of us doing anything to white tea people.
I mean, I'm sure I could go down the list, and I'll give you guys some specifics here in a minute.
Go ahead, do it.
Go ahead.
Take your time. Take your time.
Can I talk, guys?
You got all
Take
the
your
time.
time. Take your time.
Yeah, no,
No
but
mas.
my whole
No
point.
mas.
My whole point to it though was that this is a bigger issue across the board,
Nah,
right?
I don't want to switch until that question is answered. Azul, no, déjalo. I don't want to switch until that question is answered, because the reason why I want you, it is important and it is imperative to the conversation that we're having at hand. It's actually important for your initial conversation. So I really want you to answer that question before we move forward, and we'll give you time to do it. If you have a secondary device, look for it. Look for it.
Wasn't that funny? I'm sorry.
I want to hear the list. If there's a list, that means there's obviously more than one. I want to hear the list, y'all.
So, real quick, I was trying to talk, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody.
Got
So
it.
you, Sire, are like a lot of people that, we grow up around the culture, but a lot of us, I won't say all of us, but some of us don't understand it completely. Your comment about the Black Panther Party was proof that you don't understand the actual Black community at all. You can be an ally, but you're not on. You don't understand the reason you're on the front.
So I can give you.
Consider my ally. I can't consider my ally.
I can give you two right now.
No, okay, hold on, two. But we're talking. You're gonna name two specific cases. We need an overall where it was more than 10 white people.
Yeah. So the first one would be Nat Turner. Okay. and her uprising and
That's
her
why,
Wait, hold
sir,
on. How
you are not an ally. That is why you hold on. Can I jump on this? Let me jump on this, dear brother Poppy and Sister Chopper, just
Ain't
one
no
second.
fucking way.
Please. Did you really mention that Turner?
yeah.
Yo, ain't no fucking way.
I mean, you can't be serious, Sire.
It was an uprising, so
how many white people are alive during this uprising?
It
so
don't matter. All of them should have been unalived. Every last one.
exactly. So that's my point, though. Let me ask you
Hold on.
this.
Can I ask you a question, Sire?
Can I answer?
Hold on. You said you're an American. You love America, correct?
Correct.
Now, what was their beef with the British Crown at that time? They said taxation without representation is tyranny. That's taxation without representation is tyranny. Correct?
I'm not agreeing to her uprising. I'm just giving you an example of an uprising.
But Nat Turner?
No.
But that's not what they asked.
I think you guys misunderstand me. So
I think you're misunderstanding the question, though. Like,
no.
she can ask for uprising or certain
The question
occasions.
is when there had been an aggression towards.
No,
white
that's not
people.
that's not what the question was.
Yeah, it was.
There was no word. Aggression was not used once.
I said name a time. God damn.
Yeah, so hold up.
Name a point in time in history where white people as a whole were subjected to racism by the African American community.
Well, hold up though.
Or indigenous community.
But that's a loaded question, though, right?
It's not a loaded question because I can name.
Listen,
I can name 3 different ones for indigenous people alone.
We all know by definition that it can't be racial, right? When it's a minority group against white tea, we know that.
I never said that.
No, but by definition, so
what definition?
That's a loaded question. But I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second.
Time in history where white people as a whole felt racism from people of color.
Yeah, and then I'll give
in the Americas.
And then I'll give you a second
The
one.
NFL.
You haven't given us one yet. Nat Turner did not affect people in Wisconsin.
And then I'll give you a second one.
You got to give me a first one still.
Okay, well then I'll give you a first one then. And then the other one would be probably the LA riots, Watts riots.
Did that affect people in Florida?
In like 92.
Hold on, guys. So, Sire, did that
You're talking about the Rodney King riots?
No, that wasn't Rodney King riot.
Yes, it was. In the 90s, it was.
He's talking about the riot that happened after the black girl was shot by the Asian in the corner store.
Oh, right. For the orange juice.
Yeah.
You saying white tea people they felt that work? Is that what you're saying?
So you telling me that people in Texas were unalive because of that too? People in Wisconsin? People in Montana?
So
there's a reason she worded the question that way. She said as a whole. Of course, there's certain skirmishes and rebellions in history in the Americas. Of course. But as a whole, where did white people feel oppression based on their race from people of color?
Well, I would
not
say
in a certain location, not in just LA, not just in New York, across the Americas. When did that happen?
I would say white Hispanics when Obama was deporting mass deportation. Had mass deportation.
White Hispanics?
Was it only white Hispanics
what?
being deported like you? Or was it your people only ones being deported or brown people too?
Well, white Hispanics.
No, answer the question. Don't nothing. Was it only white Latinos or was it the rest of us?
The white Mexicans.
Was it only white Mexicans or was it brown Mexicans?
I mean, it was as a whole.
Yes or no?
It was a whole.
Okay, then that don't count.
Okay, regardless of the fact, right? My whole point.
Why did you just say
the whole point?
How about the Munich Olympics? The Munich Olympics. How about that? The Munich Olympics. It only took one black man to suppress the entire white race during the Munich Olympics. How about that?
Oh, you're talking about Jesse Owens?
Yeah, how about that?
Well, that too.
That too? Carajo, mierda.
Okay, no, so my thing is I get it and I understand it, but my thing is this, right?
You don't get it. You don't understand it. Stop saying that.
Humanity is at risk, period.
You know who's been at risk for the last 400 years?
Yeah, like we get this. I get
I
this.
get that you white people are starting to feel it now, but us brown
Well,
people have been feeling
no.
it the whole time.
The thing is if they wasn't feeling it for 400 years, why would they be feeling it now?
Oh, we've been feeling it. You guys are finally starting to
No,
feel
I'm
it.
saying if white people
You're a
hadn't been
white tea
feeling it
person,
for
bro,
400 years, why would they be feeling it now?
because you're scared that we're getting numbers
So
now.
you get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Is you're a white tea person trying to blend in with
No,
people's
no,
colors.
no. I'm a humanitarian. I'm a person who is for all colors.
You are sunburnt in the summertime.